Welcome to the Friday Night Lineup, a show about two friends reminiscing on TV shows and movies from our childhood and teenage years. Welcome to season 3, everybody. This season is going to be a little different for a number of reasons, so I think it's best if we start off with a few life updates. First and foremost, as we mentioned at the end of season 2, Jessica won't be in a few episodes, unfortunately, but also fortunately, because she is on maternity leave taking care of her newborn. Well, that's not my story or update to tell further, so Jessica sent in a message for you all, and she said, "Hello, great news. The baby came earlier than expected, but is doing great and is very healthy. He will make an appearance on here very, very soon. Miss you all, and I will see you very, very soon. Okay, bye." But don't worry, Jessica will be in some pre-recorded episodes for the remainder of the year, and we have some special guest co-hosts lined up to keep the podcast going. As far as updates from me, I got a job. I am now working full-time and then some, honestly. So my schedule has also been flipped upside down lately, which means we have to do some changes to the podcast schedule. Starting in November and for the foreseeable future, we will be uploading a podcast every other Friday. You'll get back-to-back Halloween specials in October though, but after that, we will be uploading twice a month. Which brings us to today. Halloween special number 1 is with our first guest co-host, my sister Sharday. We talked about the 90s kids' spooky Nickelodeon classic, Are You Afraid of the Dark? She gave me some insight on how Nickelodeon was in the early to mid 90s, and we had some questions about the show and specifically Dr. Vink's good soup. Also, last note, if you're watching this on YouTube, this episode is audio only, so you can stick around if you want to watch a picture for like 30 plus minutes, or you can listen on your preferred podcast platform instead. All right, that should be it with all the updates. We hope you enjoy this episode as much as we did, and with that, roll the intro. Welcome back to the Friday Night Lineup. I'm one of your hosts, Sharissa. Jessica is still out on maternity leave, but I'm starting the season off with fantastic guests to, be in her place for the time being. And who else to bring on first than my next door neighbor, aka my sister Sharday. Say hello.
Hello.
The little hello. Oh my gosh. But anyways, we are going to be, because it's spooky season, we're going to be talking about some spooky throwbacks, aka Are You Afraid of the Dark? Now, this was my sister's choosing. I have no nostalgic ties of the show. And we watched the episode, what's it called?
The Dangerous Soup.
The Dangerous
The Tale
Soup.
of the Dangerous Soup.
Good soup. She didn't get the reference. That's why I picked this episode, because I was like, the TikTok trend with Adam Driver was like, good soup. So I decided to do that. But yeah. So
I'm not hip. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Let's get into Are You Afraid of the Dark in general, what you thought of it as a kid, because the time of this episode airing, like when it first premiered, was April 16th, 1994. I was a couple months away from existing. So I wasn't around when this episode was. But, not to age you, but you were. So
I was.
What do you remember of Are You Afraid of the Dark as a kid? Was it a go-to show, or was it just like on?
It was a part of my Saturday night lineup.
I know we've got flack in the past because a lot of the stuff we talked about was on Snick and not on Friday, but I digress. So it was a Snick, part of the Snick lineup.
They saved that one for last because it was quite terrifying.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's more for like the kids that were allowed to stay up past 8. So your kids 9 and up. So
that is a hilarious concept to think about, that your bedtime. I haven't thought of a bedtime in forever, and the fact that you had to go to sleep before 8.
Yeah.
Wow. But okay, this chair.
Yeesh. It's the chair.
The chair. Yeah. It's the chair. My bed is worse, so we're just gonna have to rock with this chair. But yeah. So I didn't watch it because the only thing I watched from Snick, I don't remember do you remember the order?
Well, yeah. The 1994 lineup, I remember a little better than like the earlier 90s or the later 90s.
Oh, okay.
So you started off with all that. And then I believe they still had Ren and Stimpy on during that time. So Ren and Stimpy.
That was at night?
Yep.
Huh.
It was a little risque.
Yes, I saw it during the day.
Yeah, because when you saw it in rerun form, they diluted it a lot. A lot of editing, yeah, because it was a little much.
Yeah, but even then, I wasn't able to watch it.
And as a kid, I didn't know I was watching a little much. I thought it was just fun.
See, and this is when we get into the dynamic of firstborn and lastborn, because I feel like with trial and error through you, they're like, oh yeah, Ren and Stimpy is not on the list, because I think it was the last episode we had in season 2 with Jessica. She talked about The Simpsons and how she came over, and I wasn't allowed to watch Simpsons, so she couldn't watch it when she was here.
Fun fact, I wasn't allowed to watch it either.
What? It's your favorite show.
I know.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch Ren and Stimpy. So, like, I knew it came on during the day, though, but it makes sense that it was on at night originally.
Yeah. So when they changed, I believe it was producers or writers, something changed where it was the later years was okay to be seen during the day, but the early years,
no. But so you had all that Ren and Stimpy. What? It wasn't Keenan and Kel at this point either, right?
No.
Okay.
That was late 90s. Yeah, the only thing I remember from I do remember the late 90s, Amanda Show and Keenan and Kel.
Yeah, I'm like, that's what my memories of Snick is, like 98, 99, when we would have pizza and Minute Maid orange soda, and it would be
in the black and orange can.
Yes, the black and orange. It just tastes better in the black and orange can.
Well, because it was the Food Administration allowed you to have a lot of sugar in soda at that time.
That's why it tastes better?
Yes.
What?
And that's why a lot of people are kind of sickly, because they were drinking a lot of
because everybody
sugar.
was trying to beat Kel
and
drink the orange soda.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, I think Are You Afraid of the Dark was at the end of that one still too. Was it? Because I remember all that. Keenan and Kel, which was after that, which was very confusing because I'm like, how are you on 2 shows at the same time? Because I didn't know the concept of TV back then.
They brought back Are You Afraid of the Dark for like one more, like after being off the air for a while, one more season, and then they stopped it.
Okay. But also, yeah, you're my guide to what I was actually living through the living through the late 90s, because, you know, I was like newborn to 4 and you were in elementary school, middle school.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know much about like what was in syndication, what was new. Everything was new to me. So it was Are You Afraid of the Dark over at this point?
In the late 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So it was definitely like a 1990, I want to say 3 to maybe 96.
Okay.
Maybe. But I know they took a hiatus for a long time and then brought it back with the guy who was like the ringleader of the group. His little brother.
The guy with the plaid?
No, the guy with the glasses.
The guy with the glasses?
Yeah.
Was he in this episode?
He's in all the episodes, yeah.
I just knew the guy who seemed older and he's
the one, Frank. He's the one telling this story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's the only reason why he was special, is because he told the story this time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So wait, is he the same age as all the other kids? Because
I think in real life he's probably in his late 40s.
He looked 20.
No offense to him, but
he looked like he was in his 20s playing a teen.
Yeah.
And all the kids were
He was the quote unquote tough guy.
Oh.
So when they open up talking about their fears in this episode, the fact that he's the title Afraid of the Dark, it's like the tough guy's afraid of the dark, and then the voice of Francine, aka Kiki, she's Kiki on the show.
Who's Francine?
Francine on Arthur, sorry.
Oh my gosh, I forgot you told me about that.
Yeah.
Francine.
The one that says, I knew it. She's Francine.
Oh my God. She doesn't sound like Francine.
Oh, you gotta watch an episode.
I gotta watch more.
Episode.
It's not like a Cree Summer where like, oh, you know it's Cree Summer.
No, once you hear her as Kiki talking more, you can't help
hear the
but
cadence of Francine.
Hear Francine.
Got it.
Even when you see her on the show, it's like Francine in human form. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I think that's the only line she didn't talk much in this episode.
She didn't. No.
But since we started teasing at this episode, let's just dive into it. Oh my goodness. I was not expecting to watch what I watched. But the synopsis of the episode basically is Dr. Vink.
Va-va.
Not Vink, but Vink as in va va va. Soup restaurant is at the top of the town where a young man who applies at the job along with a waitress find out the secret recipe to the successful soup. That's what IMDb said, and that synopsis is kind of weak. But we'll dive into it and unpack it a little more. So basically, there's this crazy guy, and immediately when I saw him, I was like, I am not eating soup from this man. Why are y'all in this restaurant? But yeah, he makes soup. You can only have one a day, which
one per customer. Yep,
one per customer. I remember
1 a day, 1 per customer. Yeah,
yeah, because they wanted to. Well, yeah, it's the same thing because you can't just come back and yeah. But you told me why before. I didn't catch that when I watched it. Why can they only have one?
Oh, because you gotta pay the consequence if you have another helping. The staff was only allowed one taste in their whole existence of working at that establishment. If they got a second taste, then they basically quit. Was I looking down? Did someone
get the consequence of having a second tasting? And
yes.
Did we see that?
Yes. That was the girl that was beating on the little pan.
I never saw her taste the soup.
She did. She snuck a taste, and he saw it.
Oh.
But she didn't see that he saw.
Wait, was that the one when was it a new girl? Basically, okay, this is what happened. Painting the picture. We walk into the restaurant. There is a waitress that says, "Hi, welcome to the Wild Pour." For some reason, we leave her and we're looking at a couple eat the soup.
Yep.
And then we turn around and now we are seeing another couple eat the soup. I'm like, what was the point of that? Like, how are you leading me into this restaurant, but I'm not?
Just showing down. Like the ambiance of everybody's here just for the soup.
It was weird that she talked to me though, because I thought, oh, maybe it's like the point of view of a person about to sit down. I'm like, oh no, this is a camera. Okay. Yeah. But anyways, that happens. And then, I know there was like it was the girl. Because Knives fell. It was a waiter. And she was like, no, I'm not picking up the knives. I'm afraid of knives or something like that. And then she went to go take another. Okay, I thought it was what's her name? Vonnie or what? Cree and I should have wrote their names down.
Nani.
Yeah.
Nani? AKA Starlet Neff Campbell.
Who?
Neff Campbell of the 90s.
Okay.
She was in a lot of things. She's in the Scream franchise.
Oh, I know Scream.
The Craft. That's the iconic witch movie from the late 90s.
I know Hocus Pocus.
Oh. It's also she's in Party of Five. She's the older sister.
I've heard of Party of Five.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what she's like very famous for.
She seemed like, was this her start or like in her start,
this
or was it like
she
was stunt casted?
Nev Campbell.
Oh,
she was just, I seen that chick for somewhere. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because like when I saw her, it looked like I should know her.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
People started knowing her more when she was in Scream and Party of Five.
Makes sense. So yeah, for some reason I thought she was the one that had the soup. But she didn't.
No, she was a real play by the rules. So.
Okay, and also another well, actually, we have a segment on this show where I say I have a bunch of questions. So I'm gonna save my questions to the end because I have a bunch of questions. But going more into the plot of this episode, there is a new hire at the restaurant named Reed, and he is not about it. He's like, this guy's creepy. You don't scare me. You're a sketch. And so he has this tough boy attitude. He's rude and all this stuff. So I'm like, yo, you got a job. I was going to say in this economy, but I'm pretty sure at this point in the 90s was okay, except for just crimes.
Yeah.
Okay. Really crimey time of the 90s. But fast forward to waitress that let us in and left us at the door. She ended up throwing a fit with some pots and pans.
Yes. Because she does not do dishes.
Yes. And Dr. Vink. I forgot his name. Dr. Was like, I will tell you my recipe. You can be a part of the enlightened. And then locked her in what they thought was a freezer. And there was this goblin. Not a goblin. What is it called? Gargoyle.
There we go.
Gargoyle. Yes. It was a gargoyle. And like, I know your fears. And then a big chopping swing blade came down on her. And actually, I'm gonna pull one of my questions now. Is the intention just to scare them, or is it to actually kill them? It looked like it was actually gonna kill her.
He needs to juice them of their fears, so he can serve his $100 soup. So,
I forgot it was $100. That's crazy. This is a scam.
Yes.
For some what looked like split pea soup.
Now, I have my own question. What happens if a customer has another helping? Do they then get scared and locked in there?
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Where are you getting the fears?
Yeah.
Is the fears solely from the employees?
It's just from the employees. Revolving door of hiring.
Wow.
It's just...
But also,
typical restaurant industry.
Okay, sorry. I just got to get into I just got to get into more of my questions because I really need to understand what I just watched. So when old girl Chop and Swing came out, she didn't remember what happened. So why are they quitting if they don't remember?
So his whole thing of scaring them, I guess there's something in the chambers or whatnot that makes them forget. They get so afraid to the point where they just blank out and they forgot. Because Nani even asks, what had happened?
Yeah.
And then she was like, I don't know, but I gotta quit. I think at one point he said, if you have another taste, you'll regret it. And some other people were like, yeah, we're always hiring for some reason.
Makes sense. Okay. Well, basically after her whole little incident, they witnessed, the crime that is going on in Dr. I gotta keep looking at his name, Vink. In Dr. Vink's sweatshop.
Chef Dr. Vink.
Chef Dr. Mr. Vink the Third. So he decides to make them part of the enlightened. And since Mr. Reed is all Mr. Tough Boy, 90s boy with this ponytail, he put him in the freezer. And this is where I was like, this did not air on Nick. There's no way this aired on Nick.
It aired on Nick.
He scared him with what I'm assuming was his abusive uncle, who was now deceased.
Yes.
Made him open his coffin, and the uncle's eyes shot open, and his hand reached towards Reed's neck like he was about to yet abuse him again. I'm like, this is dark. This is twisted. This will not pass today.
And Paramount allowed it. That's the thing. Because they cut a lot.
They are good for cutting things once when something's put on streaming now from like the 90s and early 2000s.
They cut at least 10 episodes from Are You Afraid of
Dark alone?
Because they were too scary. Yeah, Terrify Me, but not the new ages.
Yeah, because I looked at this. It said season 4, episode 5 on Paramount, but on Google is season 3, episode 14 or something like that. I'm like, oh, they cut some stuff. Yeah. They got the chopping like old girl.
Yeah,
but yeah. So he exposed him to that, and then
Nani,
Party of 5. Okay.
Nani, Neve Campbell.
Nani opened the door and ended up unleashing the gargoyle, which I think wasn't really true because Dr. Vink left, but then
I think he just took a little fly around the neighborhood and then just came back. You know, he collected enough fears. That was
he made it seem like I'm going out for help. I've got to catch him.
He
was plotting, and then basically, the gargoyle fed off of Nani's fear, which is closed spaces, and the walls were closing in, and Reed was like, "Don't let it know your fear. You gotta face your fear." And then he got an epiphany and was like, "I gotta fight my dead uncle," and he decided to swing at his dead uncle, and the like facade disappeared, and then he went and grabbed Nani, who was like how you said, like clueless of what happened, and they thought it was over, but plot twist, it wasn't over because Dr. Vink was like, "I will never be stopped." Mwahaha. Oh yeah, and the kids are, meanwhile, all of this is happening because plaid 90s boy is Frank. He is telling a story around a campfire, because the way the episode starts is they tell the story and they throw dirt in the fire. It's like, "I submit to the Midnight Society," the title of the episode.
For the approval of the Midnight Society.
Go ahead with the script because I don't know.
This story is called, and they throw sand in the fire, which I feel like is, you know, kind of dangerous.
I mean, you got kids. Is it really midnight? Or are they called the Midnight Society?
The Midnight Society. I think they end at midnight. It probably.
Still, you got kids in probably rural Connecticut throwing sand in fires. It makes no sense already. But this is literally just the neighborhood kids that were got into the secret society.
Think they go to the same school.
No, I think they're just in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Just, you know, I couldn't imagine. As
just
a
going
kid,
in the woods with
just going in the woods with some kids at night. First of all, I couldn't even get past the first step, which is getting out the house.
Yeah.
But if I got past that step to meet up with a group of kids, start a fire, throw something to engulf the flames of the fire,
and you know what? The thing
we're in California. There's wildfires.
Yeah, you can't do that.
That is not safe. That's probably why they're in rural Connecticut.
Yeah. They would have one person go start the fire first, because it takes a while to kick up a fire in the woods. And
I mean, it's
and then the rest would follow. Like, I guess person gets there maybe an hour before the gang, and then
it's my night to start the fire.
Yeah. So it's like,
I gotta finish my homework early so I can start the fire.
You can imagine that's all they can do is listen to the radio or do their homework.
Listen to the radio.
Have a phone watching YouTube as your friends
in 94.
No,
you're supposed to be riding bikes and all this. The Stranger Things kids did more.
Yes.
In the 80s than these kids in the 90s. They act like they were so out of touch with technology.
Yeah.
They could have had their Walkman there.
Yeah. I think I
don't know what else was.
I just always saw like a radio with an antenna. That's it.
Okay.
I didn't see a Walkman.
But yeah, that's basically the episode. Oh, there's this like reoccurring thing that one of the boys was like, "Nothing scares me. I'm a tough kid." And then
that is the leader's younger brher.
Oh.
He finally got indicted into the Midnight Society. He always saw his brother leaving in the middle of the night.
Yes.
He's like, "Where are you going?"
Yeah.
"I'm going to join my friends."
Oh my gosh, we got to start a fire in the woods down the street. Maybe when you're old enough, you can come too. But yeah, so basically he was saying he wasn't scared, and then Frank told the story, ended, and everybody's like, "That's a good story, Frank." And then he was like, "That was weak. That didn't scare me at all." And he's like, "Oh, really? Well, reach into this box if you're not scared." He's like, "Yeah, I'm not scared." And then like his hands trembling going to the box, like, "I'm out of here." And
Yeah.
it was like such 90s acting.
Yes.
That was
And then he
highlight.
becomes the leader in the later 90s.
Oh, spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
Because he has no fear.
And oddly enough, they don't have when he was the leader of the gang on Paramount
Plus?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They cut so much.
I mean,
but it really did suck.
I understand.
Or not to be mean, but it really did. It wasn't the same.
Man. Probably because his acting wasn't hitting, but it's okay.
No, because he was being mature at that time. He was being the mature one.
He was the one with the cutoff sleeve plaid. But that kind of ties into, well, we're done with like the plot of the episode. I want to talk about some stuff about the series overall that we kind of dove into.
Okay.
How did this air? This was so intense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, clearly they're cutting stuff now.
Yeah, they are.
This just
like, there's one with Tatiana Ali got cut, and when I saw an image of it, it was quite terrifying. Wait, can I show you again?
Yeah, you can show. I will describe it for the if you decided to view this. I'm putting a disclaimer / update at the beginning of this video or beginning of this podcast that this is audio only, but I will describe this. It looks like a figure with some distressed clothing floating in the void in a closet, and now you have a scared Tatiana Ali in her house that is now engulfed in flames. And then there is a ominous cue written with some what it looks like blind lighting, like, you know, like when lights peek in through blinds.
Quailman has returned.
Wait,
evil
Quailman? Like Doug?
So
is it evil Doug? Was this a crossover? I need to watch it. I can't watch it.
Oh, so Quailman in this episode has the mark of death, and it surrounds Tatiana Ali's picture.
I hate that. I'm glad that's cut.
That is cut. Yeah, it's very dark. You can't yeah.
Oh yeah, this picture Calabar in Halloween Town when he sees the sun and starts
that's perfect.
Whatever he did, vanish away. But
a lot of celebrities that you know more now or knew more in the late 90s, like Neve Campbell, made appearances on there.
Didn't Tia and Tamara have an episode?
Yes, they did.
Is that one cut?
That is cut.
Oh my God.
And I believe they were on there like when Sister first started. So like maybe their first or second season of
Sister. Adorable.
Yeah. They weren't quite Tia Tamara yet. They were like, oh, the girls on Sister.
To live in a world where Tia and Tamara were just, the girls from Sister. I couldn't imagine. Wow.
So yeah, and then you had Ryan Gosling. He was also in Goosebumps, which aired on Saturday mornings.
Goosebumps was a show?
Yeah, Saturday morning. Actually, it's Saturday afternoon.
I thought it was just a book. It
was a book series, but they had different episodes that kind of catered to the book. So like, if there was the book about the boy with the camera, that was an episode, you know. And that's the episode he was in.
Got it.
But yeah.
Yeah, so let's get into our thoughts of the show overall as adults, because when I'm watching this, I like I said, I have no nostalgic ties to
have no
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Colored.
No nostalgic glasses with this. No, I knew once when I saw that match and that hand, I knew that it was done. Oh, I don't even remember there was a theme song.
Yeah, it's just ominous little
woos.
And then you see
the
an
caption
addict,
say ominous woos.
The addict and all that stuff.
Yeah, I just knew once I saw that title card it's time for Disney. But yeah, watching it now, I can see how it's scary for kids. Yeah. But now, I think I was just too thrown off with the 90s. It was just, that was the 90s.
It was cringy. When you watch it now, especially if you haven't seen it before in the 90s, it's very cringy 90s.
Yes.
Especially like when you talked about the little brother. Yeah. I'm not afraid of anything.
Listen here, pal.
Yes.
I'm not afraid of anything.
There's even an episode when the boy tells his boss, yo, Mr. T, that's whack. Like, it's very... That's whack. Yeah. It's very, like, yeah. The what you think of the 90s, that's what it was.
Yes.
The clothing, the talking.
Yes. If you
the
love
slang.
90s nostalgia core, just look at Are You Afraid of the Dark to get your inspo. Yeah. But yeah, I wasn't so much scared. I was just like, how did this fly? Like, that was just the thing I thought of the entire time. Well, was like, how can kids watch this? I found it more cringy than I did scary, but
that's why
I know
they pulled the episodes they pulled.
Yeah, because I know if I watched this as a kid, it would have scarred me. Like, I don't think I could have enjoyed this.
I believe the episodes that they pulled would have did more damage. Yeah, versus like the episode where. I'm trying to think of the ones I've seen on there. Oh, the dollhouse one. The one you were scared.
Oh, the one I said no.
You say you were scared to watch it, but it's just, she was trying to find her friend that's trapped in a dollhouse.
That seemed, because it seemed like something I would watch. Like, the something that would come on today. So that's no. Yeah. It was a little true crimey too.
Yeah. Like, yeah. A missing child.
I'm surprised someone didn't rip this and try to pass it off as real for a podcast, because there's just too many true crime podcasts and they're running out of ideas. Wasn't that an SNL sketch?
What, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
No, it was like true crime podcast and they're running out of things. I
feel like it was.
I think that was last season of SNL. Yeah. Oh yeah, we got some rap so I can watch SNL.
Because that was like the last thing you watched before going to sleep. How I was able to watch SNL right afterwards and laughed at Adam Sandler.
I know what I was. That is a good way to cope
that was
with
my palate cleanser.
What I was gonna say is when you were talking about the dollhouse episode, how it seems like something that can happen now. That just reminded me, there was a reboot a couple years ago, and even that, it seemed scary because it was like today. Yeah, and I'm like, it was a kid with AirPods getting off the bus to go to school, and it just seemed too real to where I'm like,
yeah.
I just watched like the first
movie, right?
5 minutes. No, it was a series, but it was short-lived. They only did a couple episodes. I think they intended on only having a couple episodes too. Here on the Friday Night Lineup, we have a fun rating system to where you would say, for instance, I give this episode 6 out of 10 soups. So you just say something like, a fun little thing that reminds you of the episode instead of stars, because stars are boring. So what would you rate this episode?
I would give it 7.5 gargles.
Gargoyles? Gargoyles. I will give it 7.5 out of 10 Listerine swishes.
Gargoyles. Look, and fun fact, Saturday morning there was a cartoon
Gargoyles. That's why I remember the name. Because of the cartoon.
Yeah, I never fully watched it, but I like the intro.
Yes. I was like, ooh, I want to live in probably New York.
It was probably New York. Right around the corner from Batman, probably.
Oh my gosh. What would I think, what, I'm going to stick with 6 out of 10 soups. Yeah. It was like decent, but I'm not rewatching that. I'm sorry. Will I give the series a shot? Probably not either. I don't think I need that in my life. Maybe if I have a cringy marathon, because I feel like I enjoyed it more for its cringiness. I had a few giggles. Yeah. But it was just a couple points where I winced. Like, they almost sliced old girl's neck. Yeah. They made
But they got her juices.
No, they made the boy relive trauma of his abusive
Yeah, that was really
uncle.
dark. Yeah.
And I'm like,
he's not afraid of snakes or something?
If I want to watch cringy Nick, I would pick something else. Yeah, that's it for this week's episode. I do know what's next because it has to be, because I can't release this any other time. I have the holiday special with Jessica. We watched Beetlejuice, so you'll be hearing that next week. And then after that, it'll be every other week because I don't have time anymore. I don't have Jessica anymore. So it is going to be a sporadic podcast, but I hope you guys are still rocking with us. And see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Friday Night Lineup. Make sure to comment and rate us 5 stars. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Friday Night Lineup, for the video version of this podcast. Also, make sure to follow our Instagram and Twitter at TFNL_pod for more updates. And while you're there, give us some suggestions on what we should watch next. Talk to you next week. Bye.